Hi Shutter Clickers, sitting here enjoying a ice cold Frappuccino. We just got back from a 3-day trip, 800 miles to Ennis, Texas and back for the Bluebonnet Festival. It was a great time, we really enjoyed it. This trip was a real learning experience. I learned that good photography is a lot more than having equipment, a lot more than the technical aspects. In fact, it's about 90% all about composition. From now on, my videos are going to be less of talk about how to set a camera up, you know, the ISO and the f-stop. I think there's so many of you that, you know, you got smartphones and you got pocket cameras and they don't allow you to do this sort of thing. So we're going to talk more about composition, because composition is what really makes a picture a real good photograph. So that's what we'll be talking about. You'll see a lot less talk about the technical aspects and no talk about equipment. That's not necessary. And more and more talk about how to actually take a picture, how to set up your composition. I'll tell you, Shutter Clickers, we had a great 3 days. We really enjoyed ourselves. The Bluebonnets were beautiful, and we had some really great food. There's an Italian restaurant down there. It's called Roma Italiana, and it was so good we ate there 2 nights in a row. So just a fantastic place. So if you're down there, enjoy yourselves. It's a neat little town. On a personal note, before we go, I have a longtime friend, Mark, who's suffering from bone cancer. And if you're in the persuasion to pray for Mark. He needs all the help he can get. So, hey, let's roll that opener and let's get with it. Alright, Shutter Clickers. Here we are in Ennis, Texas. And as I look around, we're looking for bluebonnets. As you can see, we found them, but we also found a million people. Oh man, I don't know how we're going to get a picture without a bunch of people in it. But anyway, it's a pretty area. It smells really good. It smells kind of like lavender. Here, I'll let you look around a little bit. Really windy. And these are the bluebonnets. I have no idea what the orange things are.
We'll find out and tell them that I'm not a
Those are the bluebonnets, and it looks like they haven't been too much affected by frost. And behind me over here, bluebonnets, more cars, and a lake. Lots of wind. Lots of wind. Alright, we're going to try to get set up here, maybe get a shot of this tonight. Then we're going to hang around and have lunch or dinner and come back and try to get a sunset. It's about 3:30 in the afternoon. Along the lake line or something. This doesn't seem to be much of a place here. People aren't really...
No, they're not inhabiting it quite so much.
Yeah, let's try that. I'm setting up here to take a picture of a tree, and I'm trying to isolate it against the sky. But here we have a composition error that I was talking about in the intro. And as you can see, the tree is not isolated against the sky, and it should have been moved down to the end of the tree row behind it, right where the lake and the tree row join. So real bad error, but I corrected it with my small camera later on. It's kind of funny and ironical, but that's just the way it goes. I was determined to get a close-up of the bluebonnets, a macro type shot. But with the wind, it was virtually impossible. So I went ahead and took the picture anyway. And by some creative cropping, it made kind of an abstract picture. And it turned out kind of neat, even though it wasn't sharp and clear. But the lack of sharpness and the lack of clarity is what made it abstract. So I hope you enjoy it. The orange flowers are Indian paintbrush, and they're almost, in my opinion, prettier than the bluebonnets, but they're not near as many, but they're kind of spread out in the bluebonnets, and it makes a good contrast from time to time. And this last picture here, this is my videographer setting in the bluebonnets, which is what everybody does. You got to get out there, you sit down in the bluebonnets, and have your picture taken. Well, shutter clickers, we got a couple of good picks, I think. Fragrance is just, like I said, amazing. It just really smells good. It's a beautiful place. A lot of wind today, a lot of sunshine. We're going to come back later on for sunset, but there are no clouds in the west. The sun will set and there are no clouds in the west, so there may not be much of a sunset. But anyway, we got a couple of nice pictures. I wanted to get some of the contrast with the yellow and the purple, I guess you call these. They call them bluebonnets, but I don't think they're blue. What do I know? You know, it's typical of people. When they see you taking a picture, they gravitate towards you. I think it's really funny. There was nobody down here when we came, and as soon as we stopped, got the camera out and got set up, now everybody, they're moving down here with us. It's amazing. So it's just kind of funny. All right, shutter clickers, we're going to look around and see what we can find here. Are you getting a picture of this lane? Did you get a shot right down the center of the lane?
That's what I wanted.
That's neater than the houses. Moving. That's my supper. I ain't leaving it. Alright, shutter clears. What we're doing here is we're waiting for the sun to go down. There won't be a sunset, but there'll be some color, and I want to get that tree, whoops, that tree, if I can. The biggest issue we got still is lots and lots of wind. And a lot of people too, yeah. But the wind's the big thing. If I set the camera up to get a depth of field, where the blue bonnets are in focus, why the shutter speed's so slow that the wind's blowing them and there's movement. So I don't know. I've been using some high ISOs up around 800. I hope it's not too grainy. So that's where we're at. I'm going to go back to the car, get a bottle of water and a rug, and we're going to sit down and wait. The clouds are very thin. In fact, they're almost aren't any clouds. It's kind of hazy in the background. But this first shot was taken about a half hour before the sunset. It makes kind of a nice ethereal type shot. But I think even without the clouds, you can have pretty sunsets if you work at it and you wait and be patient. And I think we got some nice shots depicting the sunset without clouds. These next pictures are all HDR, meaning one is overexposed, one is underexposed, and one is as the camera sees it to expose. The purpose is you layer them one on top of the other, and it gives you a greater dynamic range. You can see the definition in the dark areas, and you can see the definition in the light areas as well. It makes a much better picture. Morning, shutter clickers. Well, this is where we stayed last night. I had having my coffee. Had breakfast. Had a great breakfast. It was really good. Little cheese omelets, sausage gravy, biscuits. As you can see, it's cloudy, but it's supposed to clear off by noon and be 81 degrees. So I'm gonna finish my coffee, and we're gonna get in the car and get to trucking here. Right outside the hotel parking lot, we found these Indian paintbrushes. They're a real pretty flower, and they were kind of shielded from the wind. So here I'm trying to get a close-up. Yes, I am hand holding, and no, I probably shouldn't do that, but I got lucky and got a couple of decent pictures anyway. Okay, we're here at the information center. Turn that around. The Blue Bonnet Central. All right. Oh yeah. Boy, look at that ceiling. It must be 20 feet high up there. Pretty high. And this is the information lady right here. You're going to be on YouTube, you mind?
Chair, and they all did their own thing.
They really did a cute job.
They did. Pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
That was my favorite down there. So I
This-
shouldn't have a favorite, but that was my favorite. Our librarian
First
did
one
that.
of the rainbow.
The first one.
The first one.
I like this one too, but our librarian did that. She did all that by hand.
Oh my.
Your librarian's a good artist.
She is.
She can really,
Pretty impressive.
yeah.
But all kinds of different groups did them. This one was our public theater.
That's neat.
Yeah, now will we be out on the street for people to
There's-
lounge on?
Well, we're not going to lounge on them.
They're only for display.
Yes, but they will be auctioned off. There will be a link on our website where you can bid on them.
This one's neat. Looks like they, whatever that is, newspapers.
Yeah, Helping Hands of Ennis did that.
Yeah, that's neat.
And this one, Teresa Kloss did this, but she's an artist out of this little shop over here, Interior Ideas. And the lady that made the painting that they did the art walk on at that part was Lauren Schlegel. She's a little local artist, and she's got a studio in the back there. And that's a painting of Luan doing a painting. Out in the field. It's a neat building. It is. The owner of it was giving us the history. He said it was originally a knee-high bottling plant.
Okay, shutter clickers. Here's a typical private property bluebonnet field. Whoops. There's a guy up there flying his flag. Kind of a nice little road here we're at. You can see behind us there. This is all private property. They ask you not to get out of your car. We got us a vulture up here. He's not wanting to give away. There he goes. A little roadkill there.
Yeah, wait a minute, come right back.
Nice fresh squirrel. Well, you can't see much of him, but here's a Texas longhorn. Eating a bush. You can see his horns. Whatever it is, he's liking it. Well, this is typically what you see when we're looking at bluebonnets. You know, if you had a nice lawn, you'd say they're a patch of weeds. But they are pretty when they're in bloom. Those orange things, those are orange bonnets.
No, they're not. They're Indian paintbrushes.
Oh, they're Indian paintbrushes. This is pretty typical. This is the bluebonnet trail, they call it. Guy behind me wanting by. I'll let him by. Set my camera up and get a picture up this way.
Oh, this is a real pretty area, that's for sure.
We pulled alongside the road here, and we're trying to get a picture of some bluebonnets in this lake front. This is an estate, and we clocked it at about 3/10 of a mile on the road on each side of the estate. It's a beautiful place. Lots of bluebonnets, pretty pond, beautiful house coming up. We'll show you some pictures of that. Across the road were more bluebonnets. And there's another photographer over here up at the end of the road that just about ready to stand up. There she is, she stood up, taking pictures of bluebonnets as well. But this is really a pretty place. But once again, we're plagued with a lot of wind, making it very difficult to take pictures. But it was worthwhile because this is such a beautiful place. I don't know how many acres 3/10 of a mile on two sides would be, but it's all very well groomed. It's all mowed. There's no brush. Just an absolutely gorgeous place, and the house is really stunning. As you'll see as we get back in the car and drive off, we'll drive slow and take some closer shots of the home there. This is their Veterans Memorial Park. Don't know whether you can hear me or not. The wind is just really bad again today. Hey, shutter clickers. We got us a car show going on. Look at this Buick. I'm guessing that's about a 53, maybe 52, 53. Mama says it's a 55. Anyway, it's a sharp old car. Here's an old Merc. And of course, here's a 55, or 57 and a 55 Chevy. Get around, get a couple shots in front. Yeah, it's a Mercury. Mercury Cycle. Neat car. Yeah. Here's the trying to get into the parking lot here. He's a little big. Well, I tell you, this old Buick is the top of the class. That's a sharp car. We're back at the lake. We're setting up to take some sunset shots. And we got lots of company this time. Two couples moved in on us, and they were nice folks, but they made my point about it's not about the equipment and the cost of your equipment to take great pictures. They all were shooting Nikons, and I don't remember the model numbers, but one guy said he had about $3,200 just in his camera without the lenses, and the other guy had their very top of the line. It was over $6,000 without any lenses. And they were having the same problems that I was having with the wind. And they were bracketing, and they had Lee filter set up, about $1,000 a piece. And I looked at some of their pictures on their little screen on the back of their cameras. And honestly, I couldn't tell much difference between theirs and mine. The point being is it's not about the equipment only. It's also about composition, how well you're set up, and this sort of thing. In fact, when they pulled up, they asked me where to set up. I was really surprised at that. So anyway, it was kind of fun. They were nice people. We enjoyed spending about a half hour with them. But you enjoy the sunset shots. I think you'll find they're really dramatic. We had clouds this night.